Senator Moore, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Laska. I welcome the Minister to the House and I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak in this debate. Many of the comments, and I would just like to say that I was present in the Dáil when the Taoiseach made that very emotional apology to the women that spent time in the Magdalene laundries. And I know that I felt an immense pride that day and hoped, as I saw the expression of joy and relief on the women that were present that day, that I'm absolutely dismayed that, you know, now we're here and we're looking at all the emails that I'm sure we've all been bombarded with and received over the last number of weeks regarding how unhappy they are with the whole situation. So I too would join in the calls that perhaps the Minister would take a look at some of the amendments and the discussions that are coming up here, because I think we're all coming up with basically the same points and the things that need to be looked at. And I think, as has been said, if I could just make 3 points. The first one is on the medical cards issue, and this seems to be a huge bone, and I think we do need to look at this. Women who have ordinary medical cards, as many of them have ordinary medical cards already, but can't access the equipment and other services due to waiting lists and exhausted budgets. I mean, I agree with them when I was reading all of this and from speaking to women who have contacted me, that they should get an enhanced system, that they should be entitled to all of the supports that they are needed. I think we need to look also at those in the nursing homes, as some have reported to me that they are now being neglected and they can't get the equipment that they need on their medical cards and end up paying for it either from their own savings or end up not getting it at all. One of the major concerns as well that's been brought to my attention and that I would be very concerned about is the lack of oversight and support for the survivors, as has been reported. I think Quirk proposed that an office be set up to support the women. I know there is an office that has been set up to support from the financial end, but from the support to offer support and help to women, regardless, and not talking about monetary, that something is set up, and I would call that something like that would be set up to support the women. Because I think that this type of support is vital to ensure that women have somewhere to turn to get their needs and understood, and those who can help them, because they are all in advancing age. I think if we look, Carranua was set up for industrial school survivors. I think there needs to be something in place to take action for these women. And I think it was something that nearly everybody has referred to today is the plight of people with intellectual disability. I think the delay in bringing forward the assistant decision-making bill has had a huge impact on the women who have ID or mental health issues and who are not in a position to apply for their funds themselves. I think, Minister, this is something that we really need to look at in committee stage, because the way things stand and the way that this is going through in the bill, these women will be dead before anything gets sorted. I think it's very unfair that those in need of the most are being made to wait the longest. So I too would say, you know, let's look at some of these issues. Let's look at these issues as we come to committee stage, because I think we're all singing on both sides of the House. I think we're all singing from the same hymn sheet that something does need to be done. That we do need to look at areas of this. I mean, I'd just like to say finally, in conclusion, that we will never be able to compensate these women for what happened to them. Ever will we be able to compensate the shameful way that these women were treated. But I think we do owe it to them to ensure that they have the highest level of comfort, support and services and everything that we can do for them now. I think some of my Senator Crockwell mentioned the fact that that he had worked in, or that he had visited a Magdalene laundry. I think, and I know that, part of schools where we'd go, where Magdalene laundries were present, and we can hear stories. And I think also when we look at that film, the Magdalene sisters, I mean, it's absolutely appalling. And I must say, I'm delighted that in some of the schools now that they are using that schools, particularly in convent schools. I'm delighted to see that English teachers are bringing it forward, because I think it is something that we need to educate our younger people with, to show what did happen, how ashamed we are that this was allowed to happen in our country, and that it won't continue. As I said, I was there when I met with the women the day that the Taoiseach stood up to apologise to them. It was an absolutely wonderful moment, and I just would really, I feel very, very strongly that we have to come in here now and see exactly how unhappy they are about the whole situation.